Hi, I'm Lindsay Keeley with PAWsitive Choices, and in this video, we're talking about what you do when you make a mistake. What do you sound like when you have messed up? Maybe you turned something in late, or you were really grumpy with your kids or your partner. What is your go-to self-talk? Are you a kind coach and compassionate, reassuring yourself that it's normal to make mistakes and that you can do better next time? Or are you more of a drill sergeant, a harsh coach that says that it's not acceptable? What were you thinking? And how could you? Now, many of us think that being that harsh drill sergeant, putting ourselves down and making ourselves feel bad about our mistakes, a lot of us think that that's what's going to lead to getting better, to making improvements. But in actuality, the research shows that when we are gentle and warm and compassionate towards ourselves, when we hold space for those negative feelings and recognize, yeah, this totally stinks. I should not have done that. So we do much better the next time. We learn from our mistakes. And this is something called self-compassion. And self-compassion is something in psychology that refers to the way that we treat ourselves and others in the face of suffering. Dr. Kristen Neff is the psychologist who is famous for coming up with this term of self-compassion. Now, there are three things to self-compassion that are important for you to know if you want to try to be more of a kind and caring coach, if you want to do better next time. Number one is self-kindness. When you've made a mistake, when something goes wrong, pausing and remembering, I need to treat myself with kindness. Or if you have a child and your child's made a mistake, pausing and remembering, I need to treat them with kindness. When you respond to someone who's in distress, if a child is upset emotionally, if you are upset emotionally because you made a mistake, the thing that's going to help their brain calm and settle and regulate is someone who is safe. And that's what helps the brain feel calm and regulated. And that's where true meaningful learning can occur. And so that's why it's so important to treat yourself with kindness so that your brain's able to settle and know that it's okay to make mistakes. My dad is someone who's very special to me, and he was up on this research before I knew anything about it. When I was younger and I would beat myself up for not getting a good math test or maybe doing something wrong at school, he would always remind me. He would say, Lindsay, you need to be kind to yourself. The first time he did this, I think he said something like, Lindsay, I need you to be kind to my friend. And I remember thinking, who's your friend? And when was I not kind to them? And he said, you're my friend. I want you to be kind to yourself. And that was so powerful for me to realize, oh, yeah, I need to choose to be kind to myself when I make mistakes. So, number one, self kindness and kindness to others. Number two is common humanity. And common humanity means that each and every one of us, if you're a human, that means that you are imperfect. You make mistakes, you get things wrong, and that's part of the human experience. And if you have these expectations that I need to be perfect and I need to do everything right and never be mean and never be grumpy, then you're not going to have a realistic perception of what life should be like. And in fact, if you have these high, ridiculous standards of yourself to be perfect, it's likely that you might be having those expectations of others. And that certainly isn't going to be most helpful for their development or for their relationship with you. And so it's important to recognize we are humans, we are imperfect, and we're all doing the best that we can. And finally, number three is mindfulness. And mindfulness in the sense that you're being with those uncomfortable emotions and creating a space that's not judgmental. It's okay to be upset. I'm feeling frustrated. That's normal. And just holding space for that. And if you are practicing compassion towards someone else, it is so easy to want to come in and fix it and say, okay, here's what you have to do. You made this mistake. You need to go back, you need to apologize, or, starting to come up with ways to fix the situation for that person. But compassion means to be with suffering. So to be with them and to hear them and bear witness to their suffering and their difficulty. Sometimes what that sounds like is, oh, that totally stinks, or that sucks. I am so sorry you have to go through that. I can relate to you. I know what that's like, and I'm here with you. How can I help? Or even just leaving it at, that is really hard. I get it. And even saying something as simple as that is one of the most effective ways that you can be with someone when they are suffering. And that person might not want you to help them. They might just want you to be a good listener Or that person might say, yes, I would love your help. Would you be willing to? And they might give you very specific requests. And so this week, as you think about what kind of coach you are you someone who is kind and compassionate? Do you give motivational pump up talks to yourself and others? And if you are, keep doing that. Aim for that. And if you're someone who's more harsh, more of a drill sergeant, maybe just start to be curious about that. When you notice yourself beating yourself up or starting to be negative and harsh to the children or other people in your life, get curious. Maybe ask yourself, I wonder why I'm doing this. I wonder what's behind the behavior. Is my child really doing this to make me upset? Or maybe is there a lagging skill? Or maybe does my child have a need that they don't have the skills yet to communicate or articulate to you? And no matter where you're at, no matter what kind of coach you are, know that you can develop, you can change, and you can become more compassionate. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to hear more about self-compassion and what this looks like, you can actually listen to my 20-minute podcast episode of PAWsitive Choices podcast. In this episode, I talk about self-compassion. I dive deeper, give more examples, and give probably a fuller understanding of what this topic's all about. You can check out the link in the description below to learn more about how you can watch this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk with you soon.